So I am here. A college student wanted to interview me for her assignment to complete her graphic design portfolio class. So I am honored to do so. So luckily it works out with my schedule for the squat challenge. So I'm drinking some peach herb tea from Starbucks, and it's time to get my day started. But y'all already know, peep the RD everywhere. Even look through the screen. Don't y'all see that? Stay branded and do your thing out here.
You are the owner of Rachel's Designs.
Yes, I am.
So you're basically the CEO, the owner, no
Owner. I wear all hats, but I have a personal assistant, so some of the work I delegate to her. But of course, I oversee and manage the principal designer. She's not a designer, so she's more hands-on with it. Come down to organizing, receipts, make calls, appointments, all that when it come down to an assistant. So for sure.
So what is your day-to-day routine?
My day-to-day routine, when I'm definitely need to be productive, I'm usually up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I exercise, get my breakfast. I'm a big breakfast person, so I have to feed off that. Look at my emails, get a little social media in, and if I don't plan on Sundays, usually I'll try to plan the day before to post what I'm gonna post the next day. So I usually try to get my marketing out the way at night to where I don't spend 30 minutes trying to upload something that day. You know what I mean? Business start by 9 a.m. and ends at 5. So in between 6 and 9 is more me time getting my day started before I deal with my clients, getting back to my vendors, trying to make sure orders are out. So the best way to do it. You don't want to get up too late and then you're trying to get your stuff out the way and then trying to deal with clients at the same time. You want to have a clear mind, and it's more good to start that way. I'm not saying to, do it all the time, but at least 95% of the time you want to be on a strict schedule to where you're in a good routine, especially for graphic design because you juggle a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So find that me time in the mix of juggling.
What skill do you think you would need for graphic design, illustrator?
So I say you should learn all of them because you don't know when you're going to need them. So for example, when I branded myself during my last year of college, I was leaning more to just like a brand designer. So a brand designer, of course, you're going to need Illustrator and Photoshop. So if you're doing a logo, suppose they wanted a mock-up, you got to need to know about Photoshop. But of course, you can, do mock-ups in Illustrator. You just want that you know how to deal with all software. You never know what you have to do in order to combine and finish the project. So I would say all of them. But if you're just leaning more to a brand designer, you don't necessarily have to really deal with InDesign, things like that. But it's at the end of the day, it's every designer's preference. So once you find your groove, you'll know like, okay, I no longer really need to design InDesign, but at least know about it. Because you never know what kind of client and what they may need, So I do encourage you to learn all. Just enough. Just enough.
How did you get in this type of design? What do you enjoy about it?
So curiosity got me into design when I was about 13. I always used to be like, how did they execute this billboard? How did they get all of this on a piece of paper? And so I was always nosy, not in a bad way, but it was just like, okay, because I used to be an assistant as well. So I'm like, how did they get the agenda to look like this? So after teaching myself, and I also had a gift as well as a sketch artist. So I learned during my punishments. So I'm like, I'm blessed. So I didn't know the digital part, but I knew how to sketch, by hand. So when I transitioned over to digital, that's when more of the graphic design started becoming second nature as well. But the second question will be again?
What do you enjoy about it?
I love turning clients' vision into reality. So if you come to me and say you want to do something or have a shirt made, a brand design, executed or whatnot, I like to turn their vision to reality. And I love the part where I present it to them, they just be, oh my God. So just making others happy. And then I get to meet a lot of people on this journey whether they're, business owners or trying to start out. So you just never know in this industry because everybody needs design. So give me a chance because I'm a social person as well. So I like to just talk and meet new people and make them happy at the same time. Yeah.
In your position, do you find it's time for a creative process?
I would say 60-40. So depend if I have like so many clients at one time in a week. Not saying that I'm designing for all them in that week, but sometimes being that I'm the only principal designer doing everything, if this project is more far out than the one I have to do, then I'll skip the creative process. And the only reason why I skip it is because I offer a 30-minute consultation. So I'm usually doing the creative process with them online. So I do like a Zoom meeting with them and I share my screen. So I already be having my presentation presented for them because they book online. So I've been and looked at their notes and got a mood board together. Then I started helping them out with the 7 process on how to start your business, whatever they book for. I've been and done my research maybe the night before, right before I get on Zoom. So that cuts down a lot of time to do the creative process because I'm doing it with them. And it helps out to do it that way because a lot of clients don't know how to, start the creative process or what they want or, oh, I'm confused. The brainstorming is hectic for me. Can you help me out? But by us knowing what it takes, we done already done the homework for them. So that's what I like to do, and it makes my job easier that way.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
So stand out from your competitors. So when you do that, and a lot of time you're gonna notice a lot of people don't know how to articulate their words via email. And I notice a lot of graphic designers don't like to meet up with people face to face. They just want to use their emails, and people are frustrated because they don't know what gold and purple looks like combined. They don't know how to go to Pinterest and do it more. You know what I mean? I'm not saying every client is dumbfounded. You know what I mean? But go ahead and do those steps for them. They're like, oh my God, she does the homework beforehand. They don't know we do all of the behind the scenes. So show up with something to where it helps pick their mind within that 30 minutes. Because a lot can be done in 30 minutes if you already prepare yourself before the meeting. So just look into that as well.
Do you have a style of design that you prefer?
Yes. So I prefer to do a lot of borders. So for example, like things like this, everything like it bleeds off the paper. You see how this borders, like it seems like I'm in my safe place when I put things in borders. So that's my favorite design, but of course I have gotten out of it being that I deal with a lot of clients. But if someone tell me to do something, you may see a lot of the borders, things like that. So I love things that looks like that. It seems to be more clean and everything is in its own spot or own box. So like container wise, that's like my mind reads things like, okay, the alignment here, the white space, that's my safe place.
Do you have a specific software that you prefer to work in when given a choice?
Yes, Illustrator. Yes.
Do you feel stifled or challenged creatively?
Yes. For 2 years, I've been challenged creatively. And like, I'm telling you, every client is different. Like, for example, I never learned how to design a graduation sash. So I just designed my second one, and I'm like, the very first one, I'm like, oh my God, how am I execute this? But as long as you know the rules and how to measure things out, for example, how they teach us how to lay out the design flat, then measure it out. So of course it was challenging to make sure when I first saw it, but once you think of what they taught you in school, any project is worth, following the process and executing it exactly what they want. So I'm challenged every week because I'm like, I just finished billboards. I'm like, I remember we done billboards, but I'm like, in real life, I'm like, oh wow, what? So I'm challenged every week. And
it's
it's
kind of cool to see like an actual, like you see a mock-up, and
yes,
see like your work on
so,
billboard.
Laura's will I'll be able to see it in May. It's out in Dallas.
Oh,
I designed it for a small business. So this is my very first, how we be doing billboards to make up that campaign. So to see it in real life, we always see flyers or brochures and business cards in real life, but to see a billboard in real life, this is really going to be a moment.
Do you freelance when an opportunity arises or time permits?
I would say 50-50 freelance work and then sometime business. So to answer your question, when it arises, like I said, the stash is definitely a freelance job and like party shirts and stuff. So it'd be 50-50. I'm always dealing with organization, small business. That's why I love it, because it keeps me interested. Like, I don't know who will call. Can you do this for me? I'm like, oh wow, that's way out of my, what I stand for, which is small business. But I like how the person who's not into business know that I offer that service.
Do you work while you're at home?
Yes, I love it. Thank to God that the pandemic happened. Not in no good way of like I'm glad it came, but everything happens for a reason. And finding that out, it does save the overhead for like a building. So I do work from home for 2 years.
What is the atmosphere like in your workplace? And have you experienced a company with a contrasting atmosphere in previous work experience?
Yes. So for my atmosphere at Rachel Design, it's business casual, it's playful, we have a lot of fun, my sister and I'm very jolly, so the minute she comes at 8 o'clock, I'm smiling, I'm ready to rock and roll, because I done got myself out the way. We definitely execute on time, so it's definitely interesting at Rachel Design. Answer your last question, I worked at a print shop for 9 months. That one was, it was chill, but then we had our playful moments. It's a print shop / where we, as graphic artists, if someone comes in, we design shirts. So that one is more intense, especially around the holidays, because everybody wants that last minute design. And I'm like, it's like 3 of us at the print shop. So it's like, do a consultation with them, do a quote with them, put their order on hold or process it, wait till it come in, take it to production. So we're doing all of that in-house. So that can be stressful, because at that point you be needing a lot of help. So overall, it's definitely a cool environment, very playful, a lot of music. We coincide with each other, having different resources. We look on the board to know what is due and things like that. So it's very organized and everything, but I just don't like the intense part, but it keeps us on our toes as well. So, it's pros and cons, but overall it was definitely a great experience. Yeah, just gotta make sure you organize it. Like, okay, if they come in, you better have their shirt and stuff, because a lot of times people on their time, they don't care about what you got going on. So, as long as you're attentive, you can still have fun with the work.
Do you interact with clients, or is there a person above you who just handles the work? Who just handling the work?
I deal with every client personally, and then every now and then my assistant will handle a client if they reach out to her, being that's her friends or somebody crossed her page. But 98% of the time, I am handling the client.
And what's your educational background?
My educational background, I have a certificate in graphic design and applied science, and I have my associate degree as well. Right from Lone Star Cyping. I remember we used to have 5 guys that focus in graphic design, so AAS. So we had to make sure we had to write it.
Oh yeah. Dr. She was telling us the other day, there's a particular way you write it on personal brand package.
Yes, it's in my notes, because I'm like, it seems so long when you utter it out your mouth, but I'm like, when you write it down, I'm like, it's easy to flow. Yeah. So I have to let me make sure I write it right. So definitely associate and a certificate.
Membership in any professional organization, subscriptions to design journal.
Yes. So I am a member of the Creative Market. That's where you get free design, mock-ups, and then a business coach.
Oh, okay.
So I had a business coach for 10 months just to make sure that I was on track. So I had a membership with them. It's called Career Den, and Place It is another graphic design community where you have a subscription either month to month or yearly. So those right there definitely are a great resource for for the business
I'm about to
where,
look that one up.
oh yeah, those are a lot of tools that you can get. And usually when you sign up and have a subscription for them, you have access to a lot of the mock-ups, fonts, templates, and things in that nature. So of course you can make them your own, but at least you don't have to go build all these templates up for yourself, especially when somebody needs some on the spot. You want to have some things on hand. You know how Miss will provide those mock-ups and stuff like that. I'm not saying I know where she get hers from, but you notice that she has a lot of cool mock-ups, billboards and things like that. Because I know Sharon gave us a lot of mock-ups and Reddit, a lot of creative, any people gets on there, like different backgrounds be on there, and they be posting different things like that. And then I'm a member of Clubhouse. I don't know if you remember for that, but Clubhouse came out in 2020. The app, yeah. So I'm a member of one of the women's Clubhouse where I speak there, like on Saturdays. So I'm into a lot of things.
What recommendations do you have for conducting job searches in this industry?
I would say definitely once you do your research for this assignment to reach back out to them. That's a start. And then recommendation, of course, your LinkedIn. Once you do your profile, you can post your portfolio on there. So that's also a good start. And then Indeed, because I found the print graphic design job on Indeed. So they have a lot of ads on there where they need graphic designers all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So those two for sure, the ones that we researched. We took a lot of time and effort to complete
I
that.
think that was like my first assignment. You had to go. I think it was like 10 or no. She actually, I think it was more than that. And then she actually scaled it back a little bit.
Yes, I remember. I think we did 10. At first it was 10. I think she scaled it to 5. Vice versa. I can't remember. But yeah, so I would definitely start there. Then that took out our time to literally do all of that. Then whoever you interview, I will reach back out to them. And then of course get your portfolio together to upload on LinkedIn, because a lot of people are on LinkedIn, and then Indeed, because like I said, in my time when researching for the 2 years, I'm always seeing ads on there.
What advice do you have about portfolios?
I would say to always think if you don't like it, it's not your favorite, not to put it at the forefront. You could still include it, but just be mindful of that, because if you don't love it, the next person ain't gonna love it. So you your biggest fan, but usually the next person who's looking at your portfolio, they can about tell just by your demeanor. And once you start explaining, you're like, well, da 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 da. You know, sell yourself. So if you're gonna put in your portfolio, go all out. Don't let them know that was your least favorite. Woo woo. You know, keep all of that out when you're explaining your portfolio. So your most proud work, of course, put in the forefront. So be for sure, be proud of whatever you put in there, because you just never know. And always remember, everything in your portfolio is not for everybody. Everybody is different. So make sure you have a variety of everything from minimal designs. So just have a diverse portfolio, unless you lean into one niche. So if you're just trying to cater to organization, of course you're not going to have a playful campaign in there. So make sure if you're just sticking with one niche, make sure that portfolio represent all of that to where you're not confusing it. If so, make sure it's less of that and more of what you're trying to aim for when it comes down to your niche and who you want your target audience to be.
What are a few things that you wish you knew before deciding this career path?
To research the pricing. The pricing and really reaching out to small business or my niche. For example, I am catering to small business, so I wish while I was in school that I was reaching out to a lot of small businesses, like, hey, I would like to be your graphic designer. So picking up a lot of contracts and really knowing what type of prices I wanted to really do, because I'm changing like quite often, which is reasonable and it's profitable to do so, because like I said, being that the market has changed and everything's so sky high, so that's, you know,
that's how I was actually wondering that like a few weeks ago. I'm like, when I get out of school, what is supposed to be like my practice? Like I have no clue what graphic like you're supposed to be pricing it.
What was the question again?
That's what I was wondering like a few weeks ago. I'm like, I'm about to graduate. I have my own business, but as far as graphic design, like I have no clue what pricing is supposed to be for like.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like and you'll learn the way, or you'll get the feel. So, for example, if somebody wants a website, sometimes when you give them a flat rate, 90% of the people that I deal with when it comes down to website, they don't have no content. So, for example, they like, oh, I want this, that. They don't have images, so now you have to go out and take pictures or mark up. All of that is time consuming. So once you look at it, you're like, okay, this flat rate does not compensate for all of that. So I would say do billable hours. Find out their budget, and then okay, your budget is $1,500. Well, you know within that $1,500. What would be your billable hours? Are you gonna work 2 hours out of the day to compensate to stay with that $1,500 budget? So once you do the math, like okay, you already know 8 hours of work day times 5. You know what I'm saying? So you do all of that math and make sure you stay within that $1,500 budget. Depending on okay, do I want to get paid $20 an hour? So you will do the equation that equals out to $1,500. So once you start getting those clients. To do a business card, okay, I want to get paid $35 an hour for a business card. You know, it take 1 hour to do the business card. Okay, this would be $35. Only if you know that you don't have no overhead. Because when you do your price, you need to do your overhead. So when I say overhead, suppose monthly we pay $35 to keep the software of the Adobe. So, okay, it takes me $35 a month. Okay, my only overhead is $35. Well, I just made my overhead that now I want to make a profit off that. So you get the $35 for the business card, and on top of that, mark it up 20%. So usually people be like, okay, even though this is the price, I'm gonna mark it up because you want to make a profit off that. So I don't have my calculator. So do the math. Say $35 for the business cards times 0.20. So altogether, you put $35 to cover that bill, and then the rest is your profit. But I know you're gonna get another order. But you already made your bill money for the month. So that's how you incorporate it. So you could do it that way and then start incorporating, mark it up 10%, 20%. It's what kind of profit you want. It's your business. You don't explain all of that to your client. You do all that behind the scenes. And then you be comfortable with what you make. That, okay, every time I book a client, I'm covering my overhead. Of course, I didn't know that concept until later on. Because, we learned a little bit about it in school. But I'm like, it's not in depth. Because one of my professors named Anthony, he used cheeseburgers, for example. I have an overhead. If you know that it's $5, at least you make over $5 to cover that cheeseburger. But that's a dumbed down scenario. But in real life, it works. He did with shoes because he loves shoes. Y'all know Jordan shoes is $200. So get a project that's worth $200 or more. You are okay, I paid the shoe, the $50 gonna go back into my business. So think of it that way when you come out of school. And I wish, I understand it in depth when he was talking like that, to where now I've been far ahead of the game because I didn't have time to really do a price sheet. The minute I graduated, I had sent out my portfolio. So people just started asking for work. And I'm not mad, but I'm like, dang, at least I still got that clientele. So once I got really good at my work, I was comfortable to up my prices. But sometimes, you don't scare them when you first coming out unless you have contracts. But when you're doing freelance work, you don't want to be like, oh, it's $2,000 for logo. Okay, you're going to scare that person away who don't know you. So be reasonable for a set period of time. Give yourself 6 months, 3 months. Once that, okay, everybody know I'm a graphic designer. I'm fresh out of school. I got that constant flow. Now I'm going to go up to $50. So you just do it that way, whatever you want and your strategy. But that's how I learned to do it. So I'm telling you. So while you're in school, kind of think of it that way until you get a lot of people. Because I'm 2 years in now. So I'm okay to keep my prices where it is. When you start out, just so they won't be totally scared away because they don't know you. And people are scared of graphic designer nowadays. I get a lot of clients down that they scared to give a deposit. But, I win them over.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because people since the pandemic has really been taking folks' money and don't give them their design. So they scarred. So just win them over, set that tone for them for a while. And once they know that you're accessible, trustworthy, use it in your vocabulary, then you'll have that client base.
Okay, so I guess that was the last question.
Okay. It has been an honor to sit here and answer all the questions for Sha'Ketha, and I wish you the best of luck on your career. I'm always here if you need any help. You can email me. I have all my information on here. This is a brochure that I done as well, so you can always refer back. Or I'm available 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to where I can give you some answers or some pointers if you need help. So how did you find me? That's interesting.
I'm in the Houston Black-owned businesses.
Yes.
But I never actually went into the group. I just typed in, graphic designer Houston. So you had popped up in the group, but then you also popped up as a the actual business page with the video. I was like, oh, okay. I see someone. She in the group. She's close by. And then when I was looking through the video, I was like, hold on. That says Zachary Ivan.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think that's a real place. I think she was in the class.
Oh wow! So marketing works. Now you see.
Actually, I told you that you was important.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't, so you won't be nervous. I have 3 big brands sitting in front of me.